in Colorado with the Yankees is Sweeny Murti. Sweeny, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, Mike. How you doing?
All right, Sweeny. I made this point yesterday. I'm concerned about the Yankees in the next month because I just think there's too many things going on right now. Too many holes to fill in a lineup. Too many positions to fill. Now the bullpen is very shaky. Now Pettit and CC are showing some wear and tear. I think it's a lot to deal with. They've gotten a lot of good performances so far. They've gotten very consistent performances from the newcomers. I just think it's a scary time for the Yankees. I think they've overachieved a little bit, and I could see them going into a tailspin for a couple of weeks.
I almost completely agree with you, Mike. I think this is a rough stretch ahead for the Yankees. I think you're right. I think they've relied on some guys getting off to good starts, and they have. But you know what follows with these guys who you weren't expecting a full season's worth of productivity like this, and it's got to even out at some point. And if you look at the day-to-day injuries right now are really hurting the Yankees. Eduardo Nunez has a ribcage thing. It's keeping him out of the lineup today, so you're playing short there with one man. David Robertson's going to test that hamstring thing later today. He feels like he's okay. He's going to test it a little bit later this afternoon. If he comes through okay, he should be able to pitch tonight. But the Yankees are a little short right now in their lineup, especially as left-handed pitchers. We've known that all year long, Mike, and they've somehow managed to win games. They're 8-3 against lefty starters, but their numbers aren't all that good. And if you see the lineups that go out there, you can see them with the ability, having the opportunity to struggle again here as you talk about things turning around. The breaks that went their way for the first month probably not going their way.
Right. I can see some slumps, Hafner, Wells, stuff like that. Even Cano can go into a slump. Overbay's gotten a lot of clutch hits. And then... let's
not forget, Mike, that Hafner has to show the bench for the next 3 days because you're playing in a National League
no question.
With no DH.
No Hafner. And... now you don't have Jabba. Now you don't have Robertson. Now you don't have lefties who are pitching well out of the bullpen. All you have is Mariano. Now you're getting worried about Andy, who has nothing on the ball his last couple of starts. You're worried about CC's velocity. I mean, Kuroda's holding things together. Hughes was better in his last start. I mean, if you get poor performances by any of the starters with this bullpen, the Yankees are in desperate trouble right now. That bullpen looks like a disaster.
I'm a long way from worrying about CC Sabathia. I mean, I think we've seen what he's done the last 2 years. I'm not all that worried about him. Pettit is something that it kind of surprised me a little bit because we haven't been put in a position to worry about him. Remember, our biggest concern was about him staying healthy for a full season. Didn't do it last year, obviously, with that broken bone off the comebacker, and he was retired the year before that. We worried about the stamina of making 30 starts in a season. Well, he only missed one start with the injury he had earlier this year. So it's not necessarily a stamina issue. Now you're looking at these last couple of starts. So, okay, this is not something we've seen from Andy Pettit for several years. Remember he came back last year and he was great right out of the chute. Missed some time, came back and pitched great again. That part is more concerning to me because I don't think we were prepared to see Andy Pettit struggle because we just hadn't seen it in so long.
Yeah, I agree. And, I mean, let's be honest. We've seen some things. The walks are up. The hits are up. The last two games don't have a slider, don't have a cutter, don't know where the ball's going.
And those are two pitches specifically, right? Because he's going to give up hits. Maybe not so many walks, but he's going to give up hits. He puts runners on base. You rely on him getting, one or anywhere from 1 to 3 double play balls every game to get himself in and out of trouble. The ground ball is always good, and the slider/cutter is so key for him in that. You're right. The last 2 times out, when you see him giving up more, not really having the ability to get out of those jams as often, well, that's a troubling aspect that I don't think we've really experienced for several years here.
Yeah, I agree. The whole thing's just a little scary right now. And
let's the schedule ahead. The Rockies are playing pretty well. You go to Kansas City after this. You've got a trip later on this month, Baltimore and Tampa Bay, some tough division games. You're going to face, after a 4-game Subway Series, you're going to face the Red Sox for the first time since the opening series. There are some landmarks minds ahead here in the schedule that, combined with the fact that you expect them to come back back to earth a little bit, I mean, that could, it could make for a troubling month. No doubt.
Absolutely. And, even Jabba, even Robertson. I mean, Jabba for a while, Robertson now, stuff like that. The lefties.
Those are big.
The lefties have been inefficient. I mean, all this stuff add up. The catching situation, now Nunez, down the line. I mean, there's a lot there. There really is. You wonder which one of these kind of breaks the back,
Yeah, it's more of I think it's the day-to-day ones, that really hurt the most right now. Whether it's, Nunez and Robertson specifically, even first base is a problem for them right now, Mike. Lyle Overbay has produced very well over the first month, but I think we expect that to come back, maybe as much as anybody else over the rest of this roster here. You look at the lefties they're facing, he hasn't hit lefties well. They don't have another option here. They're playing, they're trying to get guys ground ball to first base in the event something happens to Lyle Overbay, because right now, without a healthy Kevin Youkilis in the roster, they don't have another option at first base.